Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and begin the scribble art demo. So in order to do that, what you're going to do is take a ruler and trace it along a sheet of paper. Just to save paper, I'm doing it on the same paper that I started my cross-hatching demo with. And this is how it goes. So to start, what you're going to do is always make sure, as with everything in art, you have something under your hand to make sure that you don't get your grease and lotion and all that good stuff on your sheet of paper. Okay, so first things first, you're just going to start with a word. Let's say my word's going to be the word love. Okay, so to begin, start right in the middle, just write the word. Okay, so now what you're going to do is practice with scribble art. So all it is, you want to make shapes kind of like that, but then have loops every once in a while. So you kind of go like that. So you got sharp edges and round edges. The key is don't go like this in loops constantly, because even though it looks like it'll do it, eventually it'll look like you just did a ton of loops over and over and over again. You can kind of see it starting right there. So the key is break it up and make it a little bit more expressive. So lots of sharp edges. You'll be tempted to go like this to make it go faster. That won't do anything. So just keep it small, like about the size of the text or your average text. Now over here where it's super, super dark, that's where you can add the quill ink if you want. It's up to you if you guys choose to use the quill, which is just India ink, and you can make it nice and black, but that's something that we can do later when I return from maternity leave, if we need to, in areas that are super, super dark. It can be kind of messy and tricky to work with and get a even fade, so we want to try to avoid it probably for now. In advance they'll use it for their scribble art, but they're working with really, really large pieces, so that makes sense. I'm going to zoom in just so you guys can see it a little bit more clearly. Stay in your borders, practice, because your picture's gonna be like that regardless. You're gonna have edges that you need to keep track of. And then as you start to fade away, this is when you're going to start working with the words. So I'm starting to kind of get a little more creative with my text. I'm not just doing random scribblies. If you need to do a couple of these bars, do a couple of these bars. The key is, remember, it's like with scratch art, you need to be very careful as you start to fade in to the white of the paper. Especially up here, this is when you want to start writing the word again, because people will start to look, and you can throw in like a random E or a random V up there. People will see that you've written the word. You just layer. What's funny is that it'll trick your brain because you're writing it so much, your brain will get confused and you'll automatically assume you spelled the word wrong. I had that happen. I was doing a picture of an elephant and I was writing the word love over and over and over again, and all of a sudden I thought I spelled the word wrong, but I hadn't. It was just that I had written it so many times my brain got confused. You'll see it'll happen to you at some point in the project. It might not, but I think most students have that experience. So they're all kind of the same shape here, and here like it's looking a little scribbly, so this is when I would come in and sometimes I don't even write the whole word, I just write like a couple of the letters. Change in size too. This is where people are going to start to look for the artisticality of your penmanship. So changing in size is important. You can write like little into the letters. Like that could be a cheek area if you were doing a face maybe. And if you don't have perfect penmanship, think about the cat we looked at in the presentation. And if you don't remember it's uploaded on your intermediate page on my website if you want to look at any of those slides again. But if you have scribbly or kind of scratchy handwriting, just make sure that whatever you choose to draw, it's kind of like rough around the edges in general. So something with a lot of movement or static to it, or a picture that's not, you know, super romantic, you don't want to have scribbly handwriting with. But if you have more curvy handwriting like mine, sky's the limit really if you have good penmanship. But you don't have to have that to be successful with this project. So, you know, it's kind of like with Scratch Art, you'll kind of go back and see things that you want to layer. The key is right here. This is where your micron, you're going to kill it if you put too much pressure. You just need to go careful. Look for areas that are white and go like that. And fill it that way. Don't put pressure. You're going to kill your micron. And then by the end of the project, you're going to go need to buy one. They are expensive. They're about $5 at Michael's. I don't have any extra for you guys, so you need to take really, really good care of them. This project is not designed to go quickly, so if you're feeling impatient and you're starting to put too much pressure on the pen and press too hard, get up and get a drink of water or go take a break for a second before you damage the pen or your artwork. You can even, you know, if you want to do things like that too. Remember that the bigger you make the text, everybody look at the board if you've checked out, the lighter it'll appear. If you have the letters really close together like this, they're going to appear darker. So just make sure you're balancing big and littles. And kind of take a look at it. Make sure you have that even progression from light to dark. It'll get easier the more you practice. And then you're going to apply basically the same mentality to your still life of fruit or vegetable, whatever you decide to bring in. It's entirely your call what you decide to bring in. Choose something creative. You could also do leaves outside, rocks, I mean anything. And now I have a full value scale. I could go darker in here if I wanted to, but I don't really need to because it's just a practice. But this is what I want to see out of you, this even progression. Even here I could probably add a little bit more, but I'm just going to write the word. I'm not going to scribble too much. You want to be careful not to scribble. Only in an area that's dark are you going to be scribbling. The rest of it you're going to be writing the word, but you can see it doesn't take that much time. Okay, with that, that completes our word art demo.